I wanted to kind of get into the some of the press conference sound bites, which really weren't, which to me didn't feel like a whole lot today. It was just to me like it just didn't feel like a lot came out today. Like it was like OTAs, cool. Dan Quinn said like one or two things, cool. All right, on to day 2.
No.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can you get the opportunity and watch, that's why they say I glaze. But anytime you get the opportunity to hear Jayden Daniels speak, you listen. You know what I'm saying? All seriousness though, all seriousness though, man, I tuned in, of course. Why not? It's the quarterback of the team. I mean, Cliff, you know what I'm saying? Who doesn't want to hear Cliff, right? Right? You want to. I know a lot of people, they love to tune into Joe Witt, as do I. But I want to know what's up with that, with the offensive side of the ball. I want to know, like, because we scoring the ball, like, what's the new tool? Especially, like, with, correct me if I'm wrong, we may have invested more into the offense in terms of, like, big name new additions this offseason than defense. So I would love to hear his thoughts on that. They said he talked about egos and how to control that. And who be kidding, bro? They're talking about Deebo Samuel. Like, who else on this team offensively that has a true ego that we know of right now? No, it's Deebo Samuel. And I think we're really going to see a refreshed Deebo Samuel, like no nonsense kind of guy. I can't guarantee you what kind of guy we're going to get after he gets his contract extension, whether it's here or somewhere else. But I just feel like we're going to get a hungrier Deebo Samuel because he's out to prove people wrong that he's still that guy and he wants to get paid. So I think we ain't gonna have to worry about none of that. And especially we have a regime culture and a quarterback that ain't really gonna be putting up with that, you know. And then he also talked about, you know, with it being a lot of playmakers on this offensive side of the ball now, that it's only one football to go around. So a lot of guys are gonna have to kind of find their way or earn their way onto the field in terms of production. So like a guy like Bill, we feel like he has the potential to be the running back one of the future here. But hearing KLIFF KINGSBURY today, as they should do, they're not handing it to him. He's gonna have to earn it. And Brian Robinson, as even though we all kind of feel like B-Rob isn't that guy that gives us the home run ability, we know he was really good before he got hurt last year. We know headed into this season, he's the starting running back. Now, can we guarantee that to be the case by week 8? Probably not. We can't guarantee anything in terms of him. But something that I did want to bring up in terms of the press just that was noticeable today was Jalen Lane and Brian Mitchell. I don't know what it is in me about legends, but anytime a legend gets to hands-on with one of the young guys, I just automatically just get excited. Like, didn't Daryl Greenshaw do that for Forbes? I don't know if that ever worked. Clearly it didn't, but you know what I'm saying? Anytime the legends get there.
Forbes is kind of like year three at that point, because remember, Daryl Green wasn't coming around the team.
Yeah,
when Dan was there. So Forbes is already, you know, deep into his shits.
I think it was it's Mikey Saverstill that Daryl Green was working.
Mikey Saverstill. Yeah, good point.
Mikey Saverstill.
Yeah, did we talk about it doesn't matter. It really doesn't, obviously.
Before you go to that point,
go ahead.
Let me hit that point you just hit.
Okay.
So I agree with your point. They're saying Deebo's saying all the right things right now. I thought that one Biden, when they asked him, like, you know, what he had to do this year, and he was basically saying, I got to basically do whatever it takes to, you know, that was the key for him.
1 year left. Yeah.
Right. But then AJ also says Cliff gives a great interview. I tend to not like Cliff as a interviewer. But I thought that this interview he gave today was spot on. Like, I thought by far it was his best interview that he gave since he's been here. Like, his interviews are kind of like dry a little bit. I get that you're not trying to give away nothing and all of that. I get that, you know, you're trying to keep everything on the tuck, but you got to give us something. You know what I'm saying? Give us something, pause to chew on or something. You know what I mean? Something to get our wheels spinning about, get some excitement and, you know, things of that nature. To John's point about the press conferences, I thought it gave exactly what it was supposed to give. I mean, it's the off season. Like, this is how a well-run organization operates. We're just not used to a well-organization operating. So we want more. We think that we should have this and we should have that. it's OTAs. Like, you know what I mean? They gave what they were supposed to give. We saw what we were supposed to see. You know, so it just gave us really something to talk about, something that like I said before, chew on as a fan base over the next few days or next 2 weeks until we get into the mandatory minicamp.
Yeah, because I mean, like you said, early on, the guys are just getting here. Only thing they can kind of do is just publicly kind of praise the additions and things like that. We haven't seen the Cliffs and the other guys all season for real. You've just been getting AP and Dan Quinn. So you know, Cliff started out talking about, you know, Jayden and his leadership and, you know, coming back, and you know, they asked him about does he, you know, him gaining weight, was there a requirement and things of that nature, and he basically talked about, nah, it wasn't necessarily a requirement, but Jayden knows, you know, where he needs to get better, or knows, you know, how to protect himself at things, what he needs to work on. So that was one of the priorities for him. And he said, you know, coming back, he definitely came back looking stronger and has a stronger arm. You can see that. You know, so that's definitely a plus. You know, I mean, he praised Debo, was saying that, you know, I mean, one of the most dynamic players he ever had to coach against, having to see Debo twice when he was in Arizona. So he praised him there. And like you said, you know, he definitely mentioned, for, you know, they asked him specifically, you know, how much do you see guys like Jalen Lane and Bill getting a rock? And, you know, I mean, he definitely said, like, both of those rooms are deep. It's gonna be competitive, so they're gonna have to earn it. You know what I mean, just setting the standard. So I, like, you know, just to kind of piggyback what Reedy was saying, I felt like the interviews did give us what we needed. It's early OTA, so they can't really go into too much detail, or they haven't really seen too much. But you know, just on the outside, we kind of touched on different things and different keys, and this is something they're looking forward to. But I think Cliff had a great interview as well, so I agree with Asia.
I agree. And there goes Juan. No, I agree with Juan, the point of seeing Brian Mitchell there with
Jalen Lane.
Jayden Land, thank you. I think it's great. He was there with the young returners. He himself is one of our best players in franchise history. Whether you want to say he's a Redskin, doesn't matter. Washington history, he's one of the best. He's one of the OGs. And he keeps saying he wants to come, you know, coach and come help. He's doing it right now, and I think it's working. Jayden getting some reps in with Debo, getting some reps in with Jalen, getting some reps in with some of the other guys. I think it's a great thing to have. And Jayden put on some mass. You could see it. Some people are saying you can't see it. I can see it because I'm in the gym my damn self. And I think the zip on the ball looked a little bit better. I mean, it's an OTA, it's whatever throws, but in all honesty, I think weight, whether you go up or down, is a good thing to have, because you need size in the NFL. You need speed in the NFL. You need to be able to control yourself in the NFL. I mean, at least with those three players, you don't see them partying, you don't see them golfing, you don't see them doing doing all that stuff. They're at least out of the news for the most part.
Yeah.